How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about AMC. They have earnings coming up on March the 1st, so I'm getting a lot of questions, Dre. Where do you see the price action going and so forth? So I'll talk about it in this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is a technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for AMC. Let's see how it performed on Friday. So it ended up closing at $17.66, being down 0.11%. On the low, it tested $16.53, and then on the high, testing $17.86. When we take a look at our volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 36.944 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 44.038 million shares. So we did have below average volume on the day, and we just saw a slight pullback in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is the daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it's at 46.71, so almost right there in the middle. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here, we are below the 200-day, the 100-day, the 50-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. And one thing that we can kind of see what's going on, it is serving as an area of resistance. It is at $17.94, and on the Friday high we got to $17.86. So if we end up having some buying pressure coming into this stock on Monday, I'd want to see us get above $18. I feel this is very achievable, but do keep in mind if we end up having a pullback inside of the market, then I want to see support hold like we saw on the Friday at $16.50. So I know the next question is, so when earnings comes out, Dre, where do you see it going? So first and foremost, we need to get past this psychological area right at $20. It has shown to be a resistance area as of late as well, but if we could break through this $20 level, that's where I want to see us get to the 50-day around $20.89, and then see if we can move up to get to around $22.80. This is very doable. It also is an area where there could be a good amount of profit taking, so this is one thing to understand. So it's going to be very interesting to see how AMC performs going into Monday, but I'm going to be looking forward to that move up and see if we can get that test at $20 for this coming week. So now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for AMC. So scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings for February the 25th, we have Transamerica Series Trust that purchased 3,153 shares, and then we also have Dutch DWS Variable Series that purchased 500 shares. Let's go down a bit further. We can see we have ULVM that purchased 13,974 shares. We also have SPFFX that purchased 11 shares, and we also have Pybax that purchased 3,800 shares, and we also have Low C that purchased 900, and then we have Bright House Funds Trust that purchased 3,964 shares. And as we take a look at some more filings, we can see for the 24th we have Pybax that purchased 1,448 shares. We also have QQMNX that purchased 3,760 shares, and we also have QCSCRX that purchased 1,413 shares, and we have Rise Advisors LLC that purchased 135 shares. And as far as you can see, as we go even further back, institutions have been showing interest. And then now as we scroll up, what I want to bring to your attention is the graph for institutional inflows. So as we see right here, as of late, institutions have been been loading up, and they've been doing this steadily over time. So again, this is what you want to see if you're a long-term investor. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 60.73%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 10.28 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 550,000, updated 3 minutes ago. And then when we take a look at the short borrow fee rate, we can see for the latest it is at 0.71, and on the max it was at 0.72. Now, taking a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 24th, it was at 51.29. And then for the close of the 25th, for the Friday that just passed, being at 60.73. So that is a significant increase right there. So one thing that still remains the same, AMC does have short squeeze potential. So now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for AMC. So we see here on the inflow, it's at 108, and then on the outflow, it's at 102. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large, it was 0. On the medium, it was 61.26, and then on the small, it was 46.44. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 1.28. On the medium, it was 56.77, and then on the small, it was 44.22. Keep in mind, these numbers are in the millions. And then when we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see we've had outflows on the 24th and the 25th, and we also see earlier in the week it was the 22nd and as well as for the 18th, which was last week Friday. But for February the 25th, we had a negative outflow of 1.28 million. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tend to represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, this is where we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 7.19%. So not too bad for a stock like AMC. We know it does come with a lot of volatility. And we know as far as for the conditions we've had inside of the market, you have to be used to the fact that we're going to have institutions who will be selling, and then we're also going to have retail, since AMC does have a strong retail presence, who are going to be buying in, especially as we're nearing around earnings. So now let's go to the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for AMC in regards to earnings, I'm expecting them to beat expectations. They've been able to do this for the past 2 earnings reports, and we also got to understand what's going on inside of the economy. We're moving further to things going back to normal, so putting C-19 behind us. And what does this mean? Since we have been seeing a lot of box office success for a lot of movies that have been coming out, AMC gets a benefit off of this. So this is why, as far as expectations are concerned, I want to see our earnings beat. Come on, AMC, give it to us. In regards to the price action now, if we end up having a pullback going into the Monday, I want to see support to continue to hold at $16.50. If we can hold this level, especially if earnings come out and we end up doing a beat, yes, we could have some more volatility where it pulls back, but I want to see us actually challenge that psychological area at $20. I feel this is very doable, and upon breaking $20, I feel it can get very interesting. What we need is more volume and more buying pressure coming into the stock, and when we took a look at the order flow distribution, we can see that retail is still buying in. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership, we can see institutions have been loading up on shares as of late, and this is always a good sign for a stock like AMC, because institutions are not going to be loading up on shares of companies if they don't see a potential return on their investment. And then when we took a look at the short interest information, AMC does continue to have short squeeze potential, and that's been that way for quite some time. And knowing if we get more volume and just more buying coming into this stock, that's where I'm saying we can make a big move, and that big move I'm looking for is us getting to $20. So if you are inside of this play, continue to do your homework, do your due diligence, and I would highly suggest that you check out that earnings report, listen in on that earnings call, and see what direction a company is going to be going, because I feel as far as for the year of 2022, it should be a solid year for AMC in regards to earnings and turning the business back around. Of course, a lot of things can change, but I know many of you just want to buy and hold, and that is completely fine, but just know whatever money that you're going to be putting into this company, you cannot be afraid to lose it, and that should be your approach with the stock market as a whole. Don't be putting money in the market that you are afraid to lose. Don't be putting immediate money. Don't be putting putting in your rent money and so forth, that is a bad idea. You should be using your disposable income. But with that said, let's see how AMC performs, because I definitely know it's going to be an interesting week. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll be keeping a close eye and keeping you guys inside of the loop. We'll talk soon.